have to keep the 3 questions and 4 tier when you are reading the newspaper. And this aspect is for whether I have to make notes on it or not. Fine. Majority of the students are having this doubt in the mind, ki sir, while reading the newspaper, shall I make notes or not? And if yes, then how I should make? And majority of the students, when they start writing the notes on the newspaper, they will write at least 4 to 5 page in a day. If you are writing 4-5 pages in a day, then in 10 months you are going to have 1500 pages Chitragupt's register. Fine. So that is not required. That is not required. Invariably, writing of the notes from the newspaper is absolutely not required. So shall I not make the notes from the newspaper? Answer is no. Shall I make the notes of everything from the newspaper? Again, answer is no. So what I should do? Answer is in the 3 questions and 4 tier. So the newspaper of the day is in 4 tiers, but whether I should make a notes on it or not, then that should pass these 3 questions. So you saw the article. On that article, whether I should make a notes, and more precisely detailed notes, or only one-liner, or I should skip. This is going to be fixed by these 3 questions. And what are these 3 questions? Question number 1, most important. If you have did the step 1 and step 2, step number 1, memorizing the syllabus. Step number 2, PYQ analysis. If you are doing this, only then you can go for the first. That is 10-second test. What is 10-second test? You saw the news, and are you able to frame a question for the mains examination? So when I see this news, 20 Trinamool MPs rebels set to back whom? NDA. Rebel are going to support other political party. So rebels are going to support other political party. It may create an issue of anti-defection as well as what? As well as 10th schedule. So anti-defection and 10th schedule might be triggered from this news. Fine. So this is why I will go and read this news. So test number 1 is passed. Fine. Can I frame the mains question from this topic? Yes, you can frame the mains question. That is why you have to go to the topic. Any topic or any news which is in the newspaper, if it is not able to pass the mains test means you cannot frame the question on that topic. Now, for example, here in the newspaper, there is a news. Fine. Here there is a news related to India bloc decides to take its SIR complaint to CJI. Fine. So you are going to complain whom? CJI. Can I frame any mains question on it? Answer is no. So this news need to be skipped. Israel and Iran traded strikes warn each other against the escalation. Is escalation happened? No. Is the permanent issue of their doing this attack on each other consistently? No. They have attacked and they warned against what? Escalation. Again, this news is not able to create any mains question. I will not focus on this news. Fine. Now, the second test, the anchor test. What anchor test mean that? Does it attach to any article, a committee, a concept, or a theory? So you saw any news, and in that news, there is a mention of any committee or commission or article of the Constitution or government report, fine, or any international agency's report. For example, Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI. Fine. So it is an important organization, SIPRI. They publish their reports time to time. And in their report, they have mentioned about one thing. India and Pakistan both are trying to develop new delivery mechanism to drop nuclear weapons. and both countries are trying to extend or expand their nuclear arsenal. Fine. So such international institution report is passing the test of anchor test. So anchor test is passed. I will read that. So when I am going to open the newspaper, I will first go for three tests in order to underline whether I should read the news or not. First test, mains framing test. If the question can be framed on the mains examination, if yes, underline it. If no, then go for the second test. Though I cannot frame the mains question, but still there is one committee or commission or report or article is mentioned, I will underline it or I will tick it. Third, the 1 year test. Fine. So you saw the article, it have failed in the first test, but passed in the second test. Fine. You saw the article, failed in the first test, failed in the second test, but you saw the article, it is going to be third test. Whether this news is going to be remain relevant for 1 year or not. If that news is not going to be remain relevant at least for 1 year. Why 1 year? Because UPSC exam not held after every 3 months. It held after every year. So if the news is not able to pass this test, that means that news is spontaneous and only flash. So only flash news need to be rejected. So if your headline of the newspaper is not able to pass any of the three tests, skip that news. Fine, skip that news. But if you will test three questions on that particular newspaper of the day, then you will find that you can categorize entire news which you have passed to test 1, test 2, test 3. So the news which have passed all three tests, it will be put under tier 1. Fine. I'll send you this PDF. I'll send you this PDF. And for the online students who are watching this online session on the YouTube, I will send this PDF in the session. Like once this session will be uploaded, you will get the PDF also, which is going to be attached in the YouTube video later on after the live when it will be sent. I'll attach that PDF. So pay attention and focus on the lecture rather than writing. Find something else you want to write, you can write. But I'll provide this PDF to you. Okay. So especially those students who are in the online mode, I just want to let you know this entire PDF or this presentation is based on today's newspaper, that is 9th of June. Fine. And the international edition of the Hindu. So you can match all these three things with what? This PDF. So tier 1 is the type of news which have passed all three tests. Test number 1, mains framing. Anchor test passed. Then year-long test is being passed. So that need to be framed at where? Tier 1. And if you'll see, you will find only 2 to 3 stories in the newspaper. Only 2 to 3 stories in the newspaper are going to be in the tier 1. Some of the news are going to pass only 2 tests, that is going to be selective, 1 conceptual line, single paper relevance, headline plus 2 paragraph. Whereas the tier 1 news is going to be GS paper 1, GS paper 2, even optional and essay. Fine, it can go for all the tests. For example, Nicobar project. So the Nicobar project is attaching to GS paper 3, essay paper and even paper 2 also. So this news is a news which can relevant for essay paper, which can relevant for GS paper 3, which can be relevant for GS paper 2. So in the newspaper, if any news is covering your syllabus of paper of general studies, your optional paper and your essay paper, that news should be fixed at in which tier? Tier 1. So tier 1 story, 2 to 3 stories you will find in the newspaper which are going to well connected with multiple general studies paper, and even they are also connected with your essay and optional paper. So any news which is going to be connected with your essay, general studies and optional, that is gold. And here you need to go for what? Detailed notes making. Otherwise, tier 2, selective, concept line, single paper relevance, headline plus 2 paragraph maximum. So when you are seeing that news which is relevant to only particular paper, GS paper 1, GS paper 2, GS paper 3, or GS paper 4, or for example, if you have a political science optional, so might be relevant for the political science optional. So what you need to do if you want to make notes, only what? Only headline and 2 paragraph. When I say 2 paragraph, the paragraph length should be not more than 2 to 3 lines. So that means this tier 2 news, you have to wind up maximum 5 lines. So the 5 lines you have to wind up the tier 2 news. And they are be of how many numbers? 5 to 7 stories. Headline and only what? Only the main aspect, maximum to maximum in 2 paragraph. Each paragraph of not more than 2 lines. Okay. So 2 lines, that heading. So 5 lines for tier 2. Tier 3, skim. One fact, prelims, GK only, headline and first line. Fine. So, for example, for this one, I have mentioned about SIPRI, Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. They publish a report, and according to the report, India's nuclear arsenal have crossed number 100. Fine. So, one-liner fact, just heading and that fact, close. Heading and that fact, close. Fine. So in this way, we are going to tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. If you will do this process, fine. So a newspaper which is of 20 or 24 pages, you can finish the entire newspaper while making notes maximum to 2 pages or 3 page. So in 2 to 3 page, you can wind up your entire newspaper. Okay. Again, initially it is going to take time. It will end up in 3-4 hours. Maybe some students face difficulty to go for 5 hours. Have patience. Gradually, it will start decreasing. Fine.